What's going on YouTube? Jeff Weibel here, and if you're a real estate agent, I know you're probably trying to get leads out there, and I wanted to bring back to the channel Lindsay Adams, who has a lot of knowledge with Boldleads, which is an online lead generator that you can sign up for, and I wanted to give you guys her honest opinion of if you should even sign up for it or not. Is it worth it? And we're gonna get in and hear right from Lindsay right now. All right, well, thank you for being on the channel, Lindsay, back again. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm doing well.
Yeah.
A lot of people that are real estate agents like to get clients, and we're all sitting at home right now, and you have a bit of experience with Boldleads.
Yeah.
What would you say about Boldleads?
I think it's kind of 50-50. Like when I got into it, I looked at the reviews and, like 50% of people were like, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me. I have non-stop leads coming in and I'm making all the sales in the world. And then some of them are like, this is complete crap. So, I gave it a shot, and we did it with, there was a group of us at the office that tried it out, and like the reviews, it worked for some people and it didn't work for others. For me, I was not a big fan of it. I found that the whole system itself was pretty reasonable. The layout, like the CRM, the landing pages, they were pretty reasonable. But one thing that I did notice was the leads that were coming in were poor quality. And a lot of them were looking for homes that were just not, it wasn't an achievable price. Like they had to really come up in price. And then ones that actually would respond to me when I chatted with them, they were great until you asked them to get a pre-approval, and then they would beat around the bush, and it just seemed like a lot of them were just not serious. Like they were really just kind of time wasters, just kind of looking at what there was out there. But I think the majority of the leads that I received were not serious buyers at all. And I had a setup where it was just buyer leads, no seller leads. I think if I were to do something like that again, I think I would prefer to do kind of a bit of both, buyers and sellers. But one thing that I didn't like about the program was it was very minimal, the information that they captured. They would ask for a price range and a name and an email address and a phone number. And I would say 50% of the leads that I got didn't fill out all of those parts of the form. A lot of them were just kind of choosing properties that were way up there in price just for the sake of looking at them, I think, because most of those people were not actually able to get a home that was that price. And then another thing that I didn't like was I would have preferred if they had had a little box where you check, have you been pre-approved for financing? Because that would have come in really handy. I found that the first little bit I used they had like auto emails and text messages that get sent out to your leads, but they weren't great. They weren't getting really any responses. So I completely eliminated that from my my daily follow-up, and I was doing it like personal connections with them, calling them myself. And I didn't really do a lot of text message. I would send the odd email, but again, like the auto emails that they had, I just wasn't getting a lot out of it. So for the cost of it, it just really wasn't worth it.
What was the cost?
Oh gosh, we did it was like a yearly thing, so it was a few years ago. I want to say it was like at least a few grand for the year.
And I think most people probably look at that, then a couple grand, and you say, what? Well, if I do one sale, this will be worth it, right? Yeah. But did you end up getting anything out of that, or just a bunch of chasing your tail?
I had some appointments, and the appointments that I had didn't show up. So it was a lot of I think it was a lot of time wasting for me, because a lot of them would start talking to me and then they just completely ghost me. And some of the people that signed up would sign up with like fake names. Like I got one that signed up and their name was FU, and I was like, cool, you must be serious. And it was just, it was kind of, I just don't think that a lot of the leads were quality leads. I do think that a lot of the advertising and the ad budget went to Facebook ads, and I think that that had a lot to do with the quality of the leads, because people scrolling through Facebook, they're not necessarily like purposely searching for a realtor or for homes. It's just something that's going to come up in their feed, and they're maybe going to get curious. But I think that was a big problem with it. I think that if the landing page was something that somebody could come across on a Google search when they're actually specifically searching for homes at the time I was in London, Ontario. So Googling homes for sale in London, Ontario, and it comes up on Google, then you know, like, that person is purposely looking for real estate for a reason. And I think that would have helped weed out a lot of the unqualified buyers and unqualified leads. So I think a lot of it has to do with kind of the platform that they were spending the ad budget on.
Right. Doesn't seem like they were too dialed in to target market the right people.
No, not really.
So that's unfortunate. You were saying you could buy the seller leads as well, but you only opted for the buyer leads?
Yeah, so the way that we did it, because it was kind of like we were just trying it out, and so it would have been, if I had paid for the whole thing myself, it would have been much more expensive, but we had it between a few different agents, so it just ended up being buyer leads. I think if I ever do something like that again, I would definitely like to get both. I'd like to have, like, at the time I didn't mind, because I do, and I still love working with buyers. But I think in a lead generation program like that, I think that there is a big advantage to having seller leads as well, because a seller lead most likely has to buy as well. So, I mean, if you're gonna put all this time and effort and work into generating the leads, and, you know, put that kind of money into it, I think it's worth it to be able to get people that are going to buy and sell on both ends. And I found, like, a lot of the people that were signing up through Boldleads were first time buyers. They were like, I did spend a lot of time educating people on the process, but in the end, a lot of them just weren't able to qualify. So I think a lot of them were kind of just younger buyers scrolling through Facebook and thinking, I'd like to own a house. Let's see. Which, I mean, it's great being able to educate buyers. Like, that's wonderful. But I mean, paying that much a year to not actually get any business out of it, it just wasn't working for me. So I had it for about a year and a half, and I just decided no. I quit.
Yeah. Seems like the seller leads would have been the much better ones, because those people have to sell, whereas the buyer leads, they're kind of lukewarm, and then they it might take them a whole year before they can qualify. They probably didn't even know, like you were talking about earlier. It'd be nice if they checked that box, because these people probably don't even know that they need income to purchase a home, to get a mortgage, but they just clicked the box, right? Or they just signed up for your emails.
And I think another big thing that was a reason for me to discontinue my use of Boldleads was that I relocated. So I wasn't necessarily looking to find a lot of leads in the London area anymore. But I mean, when I moved back here to Waterloo, I'm from here, so I have a pretty big, like a much larger sphere of influence here, a lot more contacts here. So I decided to just forego any sort of lead generation programs for the first couple of years, because I didn't really think I needed it. And so far I haven't. So, I mean, all of my business in the last year or so has just been through referral and friends and my personal contacts. So
yeah, that's a big part of what I talk about on the channel a lot, is just building relationships like that. And that seems to get you a lot of good quality, real leads, people that actually sell real estate and buy real estate with you because they trust you. Sometimes those bold leads, they don't trust you. They don't know who you are. The guy wrote FU as the name, right? So you're already behind the 8 ball trying to convince them to use you when you're just trying to like help them out to purchase real estate. So yeah, fostering relationships seems to be the better way, but I know a lot of agents out there, they want to see if they can get the lead generator. You probably could have done it all through your own Facebook ads practically.
Yeah, I mean, I probably, like, I mean, if I sat down and actually looked at it, the cost that I've spent on Facebook and Instagram and social media ads versus what I've spent on Boldleads, I think 75-80% of my business comes from Instagram and
Yeah.
and just personal relationships with people. So, and I mean, if I were to spend as much as I spent on Boldleads on Instagram, like I don't spend a ton of money on my Instagram advertising. Like I maybe spend $100 a month, and that's where I get most of my business from. So, I mean, if when it comes down to it, Instagram's probably your best bet. Instagram and Facebook. I'm sorry about my dogs right now; they cannot calm down. Um, but
Yeah, it's
I
real
think,
life. Don't worry.
yeah, I know having a puppy, it's a lot. It's a lot to handle. But I think that Instagram and Facebook are probably my main sources of lead generation at this point in time, and because social media is in front of everybody's face all day, especially right
Yeah,
now.
especially right now. And
Yeah.
you've been on the channel before, and we've said this a lot, how much videos and social media presence can make you money in this business. And now, yes, everyone's forced to be at home right now. So
Yeah.
you better get good at it.
And I mean, if you think about it, really, that's the only thing other than the agents that do have clients that have essential purchases and sales. Like none of my buyers right now are, it's not essential for them to buy. I have a listing that's a triplex and some of the tenants are older. So we've suspended that listing for their safety. And right now, like all of my buyers for the most part are first time home buyers. They don't have to move right now. So they've kind of stepped back. So I've been focusing a lot of my time on just getting ready for when the floodgates open and we're ready to work again. So just kind of putting together a really great marketing plan and all that stuff. And of course, I'm studying on the side for my broker's license, but I've been sitting at this desk a lot and doing a lot of just planning mostly.
Well, I think we're going to have the spring market in the fall coming up shortly. So we'll take a little bit of a break right now because you can't do as much real estate as we'd all like to, but it's going to be crazy come end of summer into the fall, I think, once the markets open back up pretty much.
I think so too. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a busy winter too.
Yeah, totally. Unless they try to shut down again for another forced hibernation, but we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know how if I would be able to handle this in the winter. Because, like, at least now you can go out in your backyard and enjoy the sunshine and kind of get out. But I think if I was quarantined in the middle of winter, it would be a lot harder to deal with.
100%.
Yeah.
I know.
It's just a in the winter.
So how can my audience find you?
Instagram. My Instagram is probably the best way. My Instagram handle is Lindsay Adams Realtor. And I have Facebook as well. Same thing, Lindsay Adams Realtor. And that's probably the two best ways. Yeah.
We'll make sure to put that in the description so you guys can go check her out there and make sure to follow her on both those platforms. But really appreciate you coming on the channel. It was nice to finally chat with you again. It's been a while since I've seen you.
It has. We'll have to, once all this is over, we're going to have a nice brokerage gathering so that everybody can catch
100%.
up. Well, hopefully this doesn't last too much longer and we can get back to what we actually love doing. And
yes.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on.
All right. We'll chat with you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.